We have a question from Paul, and Paul did something you don't see a lot of people do. He finished the program. I finally did easy strength for a full 40 days, having failed to stick to the program in the past. I noticed considerable strength increases in several lifts, and even just a general feeling that the movements were easier. I wonder why we call it easy strength. I also found that the routine helped ground me through the day and week. Knowing that on such and such a day I'd be doing the same thing was a great help for me, as I often fall victim to what Jim Wendler calls training ADHD, and end up switching routines without squeezing much benefit from them. Most common thing I ever see. Yeah. So thank you very much for giving easy strength to the world and being a champion of common sense. It's funny because in theology, common sense is considered the highest form of proof. At least that's what my professor told us. My question, if you would like to answer it, is whether you have any specific advice for trainees who struggle to maintain consistency on programs to make sure as the weeks go by, they stick to the plan and progress. Well, one thing that helps me, the whole stack of them is right over there, is I do keep those journals, and I keep those journals, and I look at those journals, and I remind myself of the path. The other thing that helps me a lot, and I'm not selling myself here, Paul, but I spend a lot of money on a coach. And each week, I send my coach pictures. And I got to tell you, folks, if you ever want to be humbled, take a picture of yourself in a pair of shorts, side view and front view once a week. There's no secrets after a few weeks. I have to send my measurements in. I have to send my lifts and loads. I have to talk about my calories. I have to talk about my protein intake. What most people need is an accountability buddy. I like paying for it. I think there's real value to it. We have accountability buddies in my inner circle. In fact, there's a couple of them that still have their group going. Maybe it's almost 2 years in a row now, and they just tag each other about once a day. I did what I was going to say I was going to do. Alcoholics Anonymous and those other groups, one of the things that really helps is that you get someone to walk the walk with you. And so for me, I think the first layer is journals. Because journals always provide me what I did. But an accountability buddy, a coach, someone you can trust, someone who will walk the walk with you, that's just as important. I've been in places, in relationships in my life where the person did not support my sport or maybe some of my fitness goals. And I got to tell you, folks, I can't imagine anything worse now. And to the point that it was I can't remember the name from Sex and the City, but it's this idea, a deal breaker. These are deal breakers. If you don't support the fact that I'm a discus thrower, well, it's not true anymore, but yeah, deal breaker. This is too important to me. If someone clearly doesn't like my group of friends and my family, it's a deal breaker. Not that my friends and family, and I'm being candid here, we're not the best people in the world. We're not. But we're okay. And if you don't like us, well, who do you like? That's why I think you need someone in your life that supports you. I wouldn't say blindly, but supports your vision and your goals. So you got your journal, you got your accountability buddy or your coach or whatever you're going to have. And then the next thing is you got to have some skin in the game. You got to put a little money up. One of the best tools I've ever heard of is you write a check. For those who don't know what this is, so this you write a check. There's my checkbook, and you write it to an organization that makes you want to vomit that you're going to give money to them. It's got to be at that level of hatred. I think of a certain college football program locally that I would, if I gave them money, would break my heart. I can think of some other groups that if I gave them money, I can think of some politicians that if I gave them money would destroy my day. So you write this check and your buddy, me, I keep it. And if you don't do the 40-day program, you didn't do it? Then I send that check in the mail with a enjoy to the organization you do not want to support. In Tony Robbins' book that's been right there for months. Oh, it's up there above the other books. Tony Robbins has the famous thing called the Alpo diet. And the Alpo diet's very simple. You bring a group of friends to a table and you say, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds this month, and if I don't, I'm gonna eat a can of Alpo. For those who don't know what Alpo is a dog food that has such a distinctive smell that if you walk into a house and someone opens that can of Alpo, you'll smell it. And it doesn't have a smell that it smells good to humans. But I know this, I would much rather do this damn 40-day workout than eat a can of Alpo. So those are the steps I use to get people to do things. I got to tell you, spending money, skin in the game, can of Alpo, those work really well for certain personalities. Hi, I'm Dan John, and that's what works for me. Secondly, some of you can get away with just a coach or a mentor or a friend or whatever, accountability buddy. And then some of us occasionally can just be self-driven. And I envy those people. Good question, and thank you.